Hello. Now I'm going to just take you through how we could go about making a film script today. So I'm just going to open up the PowerPoint first. Now you've got this in your Teams folder at the moment, okay? So first things first, our aim is to write a film script. And then our success criteria is that you can plan and write the script. You can add additional extra elements for filmmaking, such as locations and props, and you can structure the timing of sections to meet a given running time. So you'll know roughly what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, okay? So we'll look at these slides, give you an idea. So filmmaking and documentaries. Right. Filmmaking, this is what it actually means, is the process, is basically how we make a film and involves various separate stages of production. Now, I know some of you are asking at the end of last term, well, how do we go about making a film? Well, this basically is it. And then a documentary is a non-fictional film, and this is what we're going to be focusing on with this activity. Okay, it's a non-fictional film usually intended to provide a factual, and that means true, report on a particular subject. Okay, so over the next couple of lessons, next couple of weeks, okay, we are going to be working our way through to see if you can actually make your own short documentary film. And here's an example of one of the sheets. We'll have a look at that in a little more detail later. Okay, so planning and script writing. Software. Now, you might want to actually do a bit of typing with this or later on in the topic. So use a word processor. You've all got access to Microsoft Word through your Office 365. And you've also all got access to J2 Writer. Okay. Now, J2 Writer, of course, anything you save in there, please make sure you name your files. And don't forget, I can see it as well. So it's very easy. You don't have to share it. Whereas if you do anything in Word, you're going to have to actually share it to my email address, which we have been over. So J2 Writer is probably a better option there. Okay. Now, if we just look at the next one. So it's very important if you're going to make a documentary and film it possibly, is that we actually have an idea what you're going to make it about. So this is where your plan, your script comes in, okay? So it's important that films must aim to be short and simple. We need to keep the viewers interested. It is amazing, it says here, how much more is required to make a really good short film of only a few minutes in length. Your maximum running time, okay, for the final film will be 5 minutes. You'll be able to film much more than that, and it's a good idea to do so. But later on in the editing process, you will need to cut out anything unnecessary that doesn't add to the final project, okay, add value. So there's a lot of information there. Don't worry too much about it, okay? And then we move on then to the planning of your film, okay? So we start to write your scripts and prepare your interview questions. Now, if we say interview questions, because you may want to be asking some people about some topics, right? Because if you're filming, you need someone to actually to be filmed, okay? So this is where you might want to use writing a script sample plan that I've included, and the filmmaking tips activity sheets. We'll have a look at those as well, okay? And then we get to the bit then where we have to have some original ideas, okay, for your film. So we need to think about who to interview, or to think of questions to ask, an angle to research, a location to film, or an approach to the subject, or how we're going to do this. So let's have a look at some of the sheets we've included here. So first things first, documentary film subjects. Okay, now here's some ideas. They might work for you, they might not work for you, right? Some of these ideas are really better if you were actually in school and could talk to your friends, okay? But you could possibly make a short film about school uniform. And maybe you are going to have to be the person who is going to have to answer these questions and talk about these things. So have a little look here, ideas about how school uniform has changed over the years and whether you need it. School dinners. What do people think about current school dinners? They've changed an awful lot in my lifetime. Okay, when I was your age, I remember regularly having sausage, mash, and cabbage. And there's an awful lot of cabbage left on the plate. Okay, for school dinners, semolina pudding. Terrible things, right? If you didn't like those pudding, it was hard lines. That was it for the day. Okay, school timetable. Bit of an interesting one, this, because we're not in school. But again, maybe you could do a project on what do you think of the current school timetable, what do we think with the subjects that we do, okay? And what do you think about the times or the day we start or finish? Homework, course, you could get a little film on homework if you wanted. School clubs. Now, you could also, though, if you wanted to, go completely outside of these ideas for films. You could do something totally different, okay? So we'll leave that up to you to think of a subject for your film. Now, if you have a look at some of the other things here then, right? So we've got then some filmmaking tips. Your film, you'll be surprised how much you will be saying in about 5 minutes, right? Keep it short, keep it sweet, okay? And keep it simple, all right? It's a much better idea to keep your film short and simple, okay? Don't overcomplicate it, right? Make every shot, every scene count. Audience, this is really important. Who's going to watch it? If you're going to have adults watching it, think about what they'd like to see. If you're going to have children or even young children watching, think what they would like to see. You don't want your audience getting bored. Your subject or your message, okay? Always try, it says here, to keep in mind the main subject you are trying to investigate or the message you're aiming to get across. Don't suddenly start talking about totally different things. For instance, if you're suddenly talking about school uniform and then you decide to start asking people, what did you have for dinner? Well, you've really gone off the point, okay? And you're going to lose your viewers' attention. Vary your angle and types of shot. Try to film from different places. Think about where you'd film from. Would you always film head on? Would you film from the side? Would you have some people walking away? And don't forget, we don't need massive cameras when we come to film. These days you've got a wonderful device called a mobile phone that can more or less do everything. Light, always a good one. You always see filmmakers concerned about how much light there is. If it's too dark or too shady, you can't see people's faces. And also you don't want people staring in the sun, squinting. Sound. Like I'm recording this at the moment, I'm trying to keep the rest of the house as quiet as possible so that you can hear me. Think about how you would like people to hear what's being said. And then, of course, you've got your terminology, the words we use in the film. Stand by, take one, take two, action, cut. Think about how you would let people know that you were filming or not, okay? And then we get to actually writing a script. That's what the sheet would look like. So you've thought hopefully now of a topic. So you've got your subject of your documentary film, okay? You're going to think about who's actually going to be doing the speaking, where, what sort of things are going to be said, how you're having an interview, who's the actual interviewing, who's the interviewer, who is being interviewed, who's being asking questions, who's being asked the questions, where will this take place, what are the questions, okay? Background information, well, who's involved, right? Where? Right? We might well be looking at this next time, okay? Now, I've got a number of different types of script writing sheets here. 1 star is the most simple, 3 is the most complicated. I suggest at this point, as you're doing it on your own, unless you're having a lot of help from grown-ups at home, stick with 1 star, okay? Right? It's there, though, if you want to go a little further. Also included then, sorry, wrong one. I've also included a sample script where we've had some ideas already filled in so you can see what a completed script might look like. For instance, we start off here, group members, other people involved, okay? So this would be as if you were in class, but at home you might be listing your family members who might be doing this, okay? Interviews, who's being interviewed? And this one, that's the head teacher who's being interviewed. There's a child in year 6 being filmed. Props required, camera, microphone, mobile phone. Locations, where are you doing interviewing? Documentary title, school uniform, is it good or bad? Then we got the timings, okay? So you say, right, 15 seconds, we are going to just say what this is about. 45 seconds, we're going to present the arguments for, and then the arguments against. Is school uniform a good or a bad thing? Then we have your interview. And again, it's only a short little thing, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Maybe here, interviewing the head teacher. Then there's some more discussion. Then there might be another interview. Then you'd summarize it and close it all off. But if you notice, the whole thing is probably less than 5 minutes. 15 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 15 seconds, 4 minutes, 15 seconds, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, 30 seconds at the end, 5 minutes in total. It's very short. Have a bit of fun with it, see how it goes. I know this is quite a complicated activity. As I said, let's just see how we manage to do it, and if it's too challenging, then we'll rethink it for next time. Okay, so hopefully you'll enjoy. Right, I'll stop talking now. That's a long video. Okay, ta-da.